Alright, Schlockmeister fans, a re-review from my previous channel, The First Turn On. Let's watch.
Welcome to Camp Big Teepee, a place where children come year after year to gain the experience that...
Typical silly hijinks at summer camp. And a little pot smoking.
Smooth stuff.
So while 5 of them are trapped, or they're in a cave, I should say, they get trapped there when there's a cave-in. So they decide to tell each other how they lost their virginity.
Stub. Why don't you tell us about your sexual conquests?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this!
Okay, all right. I'll tell you all about the first time I got laid. Under one condition.
Yeah?
That you all tell me about the first time you got laid.
And then we see some experiences that they had.
Jesus Christ! What is this sticky shit all over my dress? You pig!
That sounds sweet.
Hey, and this guy apparently picked up a hooker.
Well,
What'd you say your name was?
yeah, you got it.
Morning.
Okay.
Things get out of hand.
What are you doing? I did everything by the book.
And eventually he gets in there and loses his virginity.
You're the best. And that's the way. And that's the way it happened.
What a crock of shit.
Now we follow Henry Putz's story.
It was never any problem. If I wanted a date, all I ever had to do was reach over, pick up the phone, and no problem.
He met a girl who was getting harassed in the park. She was holding her own against the 4 guys for a while, but eventually they got the best of her.
Who turned out the lights? Hey, man, check this shit out.
She takes him home and he gets her.
Am I good enough for you?
Oh.
It ends with a spider on his crotch.
Let me show you something.
One of the girls tells a story involving a slumber party. Where she met a knife-wielding maniac.
Don't make a sound.
Hey, Butter!
She turned the tables, but turns out he's just hungry.
Who are you?
Johnny Robbins.
What are you doing here?
I just wanted something to eat. I've been running all night.
You're scared.
They end up doing it in the barn.
Oh! You're in here. Oh!
And we get our third story from this guy. He's hanging out with his big brother on the beach.
Wow! She practically tore your bathing suit off.
I didn't think she was hot. You should see her friend.
And there she was, my dream girl. She was even more beautiful in person. I thought I was dreaming, but no, it was true. The girl from the pages of Penthouse was standing right in front of me. The girl on the cover of Penthouse.
But is she real?
Smiled at me. He said,
Danny, I really think you've been spending a little too much time with your son, pal.
But later on, he sees her.
Danny, you're bold.
Oh.
Danny, you don't have to impress me.
then it happened, just like my brother said.
Our fourth story involves this woman, and she was with Melvin from the Toxic Avenger.
Wayne and I innocently explored the mysteries of coming adulthood.
Oh my, oh my, oh my.
The 2 of them went to a dance, and he got picked up by somebody else, if you can believe that.
I was crushed. I couldn't imagine what he saw in her. In my ears.
She ends up getting picked up by two men.
I guess I must have misunderstood. It wasn't exactly.
She ends up on a bowling lane with both of
but
them.
for 75 cents, shoes included, what do you expect?
Well, how do you like the date so far?
And
Vincent
here are the
D'Onofrio's
rules.
film debut as in the
All
Circle
lights
Jerk.
must be turned off.
The first person to reach climatic finality is the honorary chairman of the Eagles for next summer.
Stop joking and start stroking.
But it's a practical joke.
I'm joking. It's so cute. What wrist action? I always knew you could handle yourself in a crowd.
Huh?
But they were all lying.
There was no hooker. I made the whole thing up.
Shit, I don't even know how to talk to a girl.
Me neither. I mean, nah, I've never made it either.
Fucking case.
They're all kind of bummed out. So naturally, they decide to have an orgy. And they'll all lose their virginity for real. They were shaking and rocking so much that the cave-in fixed itself. And our film ends with them able to leave.
What a fucking day.
All right, let's talk about The First Turn On. Now, this is a movie that I taped off of cable, probably in 1992 or 1993. I watched it then. I hadn't seen it since. I remember nothing about it, other than I remember there were some nude scenes in it. And there still are nude scenes in it. In fact, there's quite a bit of them, actually, for a movie like this. It's a trauma film, like I said, and it's essentially an 80s sex comedy. Takes place at a summer camp, and we have some counselors there. 5 of them who we kind of focus on, 2 women and 3 boys. And they're probably about 20 years old or so, and they're out like doing camping things out in the woods, and they get caught in a cave-in. And while they're inside this cave, naturally what you do is exchange stories about how you lost your virginity. And that's basically the rest of the film. We just kind of go from one camper to the next, or not one camper, one counselor to the next, and they tell their story, and then we see that story played out. The first guy, his name is Mitch. They call him Stud. We see him lose his virginity, and then we go to this other guy, this red-haired guy who lost his virginity to a penthouse pet, Sheila Kennedy, who actually was a real penthouse pet. In fact, I reviewed a movie of hers not too long ago called Ellie, about a month ago maybe. And then there's 2 women there as well, and then there's this chubby guy named Putz, and we see how he lost his virginity. And one of the girls, one of the women there, the one with the curly blonde hair, she lost her virginity by Melvin Junko, the guy who played the Toxic Avenger before he turned into the Toxic Avenger, the nerdy guy. Actually, she didn't lose her virginity to him. She was probably going to. They were at the dance together, but then he ran off with somebody else, and then she ran off with these 2 guys, and then she ended up making love with them in a bowling alley. And then they all admit to each other at the end there that they were all lying. None of them had really lost their virginity. In fact, they're all virgins. Hard to believe, but nonetheless, that's the plot. And then they decide, why not have an orgy? We're trapped inside this cave. Let's have an orgy. So they get into a big orgy, and all the sex and rocking and rolling and everything gets the mountain moving, and another collapse occurs. But this time the rocks come down and they open up a doorway, and they're able to come out of the cave, and that's how our movie ends. So there you go. That is The First Turn On. You know what? It's a stupid-ass film, but, for what it was, it's okay. It ain't bad. It's got some lovely women in it. There's tons of nudity in it, much more than I would have expected, actually. And Sheila Kennedy, Penthouse Pet, I think she's just absolutely gorgeous. I always thought she was. She looks great, too. In fact, I even mentioned this. And, of course, I also got to mention, they even mentioned on the cover here, it says, Penthouse Pet of the Year, Sheila Kennedy, but also featuring Academy Award nominee Vincent D'Onofrio. Yes, I didn't verify this, but apparently this was his very first movie. His character name is Lobotomy, and he has a great line about masturbation. It's time to stop joking and start stroking. I think that's what he said. I show you that scene there. So, but anyway, that's pretty much it with The First Turn On. So, Anyway, I didn't look it up to see how much this DVD costs now. I'm afraid to look because the last time I looked for the movie Squeeze Play, which has the same type of box, came out at the same time. That thing was like $90 or something ridiculous, if it was even available. I don't know. So maybe this one is out of print and it's super expensive too. I'm not sure, but whatever the case is, I will leave a link to Amazon for you. And you know what? Grab it, buy it. Who cares what the price is? It's worth $150. Well, it's not really, but whatever. Buy it anyway. Check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about the first Turn On. Watch it. Bye.